everyone. Welcome to TV Talk with Natasha and Kimberly. I am Kimberly. That is Natasha. Say hello, Natasha.
Hi. It's been a while. I miss talking with my co-host.
Yeah, guys, it's been a while. We apologize for that. As you know, a lot of series went on hiatus, but the good news is a lot started up again, so we get to talk about those today. One thing that we wanted to bring up, though, is we are going to slowly move into more of a podcast format, meaning this show is going to go from YouTube onto a podcast probably before the fall premieres start, guys. So we're going to give you some warning. We're going to do a couple more of these and remind you of it, but eventually this is going to go into a podcast format. And we might do some little excerpts on YouTube, some little extensions of the podcast, but we did want to put that out there so you guys were aware of it.
Yes.
And it'll just make it easier for you guys to listen to us. We have so many shows that we want to talk about. It's going to take more time than 30 minutes, and what better format to use than a podcast?
Yes. I know I keep on saying that. So, so the shows that we're trying to review for you today are briefly True Blood, because let's face it, Kim, she saw the first 5 minutes and was like, I'm done. And that's completely understandable. So, and then we'll talk about Falling Skies, which was a humdinger, Teen Wolf, which was so much happened in that, and Legend of Korra. We are so happy that the show is back. Like, all of these shows are back, but, you know, just Legend of Korra. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about True Blood first. And the first 5 minutes of this episode was just like, what the heck? And there was a scene.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. So we didn't see it really on screen. Tara's mom mentioned that Tara died trying to defend her, and some people brought up a good point that, you know, she must not be dead because Pam didn't feel her die. And that's her, you know, Padawan, so to speak. Like, she turned Tara into a vampire. I would think she would have felt that. Like, you know how Eric felt Godric die? Like, he saw him die. But, you know, at the same time, it's like they have that connection.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is Pam feeling anything at the moment? Because that scene looked like she was like just willing to. She was just numb. You know, she had that scene with the guy where they were playing with the Russian roulette. So I don't. And when it happened, it was off screen, by the way. Okay, which flashbacks me to X3 and how irritated I was that a main character died off screen. So I immediately got aggravated.
Yeah, like it wasn't fair to Regina Wesley, in my opinion, and it just wasn't fair to Tara's character anyway, just because of how her character has developed over the course of these seasons. Like, it felt like a slap in the face that she would die off screen like that. So I'm hoping, especially when her mom started supposedly hallucinating, saying that she's trapped somewhere, that maybe Tara's not dead.
Yeah, I hope so too. My DVR is still set to record this show. I'm pouting at the moment because that really just put me in a foul mood right off the bat. And
yeah, like Twitter was like, what just happened? Like, what?
I like seeing LC again, and my goodness, has the man gotten bigger? He was popping out of his shirt. I was like, oh god.
There are still some good-looking men on this show. Sam Trammell, yeah, I just like his beard, and I just like Sam. And several people got kidnapped. Now, I was very concerned about Arlene for a second, because I'm like, oh my gosh, don't kill her yet!
Yeah.
But fortunately, a lot of them are now, like, held prisoner. Who knows how long that's going to last, because, I mean, Sam's, like, girlfriend, I can't even remember her name at the moment, she's pregnant. So, I mean, that's a concern. And now we have Sookie, who's feeling sorry for herself because everyone's like mad at her apparently they're blaming her for bringing vampires in town in the first place. No, they were already there. They just revealed themselves. So I felt kind of bad for Sookie in that aspect, because she's hearing these people's thoughts about how they hate her, they're hating on her, but at the same time I'm like, it's Sookie.
Well, Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for her, and it's, Sam, he's getting his brunt too because it was his idea to
Hmm.
team up vampires and humans. And guys, if you don't remember, the whole reason this attack happened was because there's that virus that broke out among the vampires. What do they call it? Like
Hep V.
B or yeah.
Yeah, and that was the humans' fault, really, because wasn't it the mayor that helped develop this
Yeah.
virus in the first place? So if you have anyone to blame, it's the mayor, but they don't realize that. Or the old
No.
mayor, because Sam apparently was mayor. I never understood that, but that's just me. And now one of his rivals knows now that he's a shapeshifter, and there's going to be problems with that as well. I could just tell immediately. And then we have a little friction between Alcide and Sookie because he was thinking kind of the same thing that everyone else was thinking, and that really hurt her. And I don't blame him for that too, but gosh darn, he's hot. And then we have, Bill and Andy kind of teaming up a little bit. Andy's still bitter about what happened to his daughters, but they're trying to find Sam's girlfriend and Arlene and everybody, and his girlfriend as well. Andy's girlfriend got captured as well, so they're just trying to find them, and they're doing whatever they can to do it. And then we have Jessica trying to protect Andy's last daughter, and she finally invites her in, and hopefully Jessica doesn't screw that up. But I thought it was interesting, the little standoff that happened between her and the vampire, and
Yeah.
she was like, "No, I'm standing here.
She was
If I
willing to
burn
die.
up," she was willing to die. And I just loved how Jessica's character has developed over the course of the seasons. Like she's definitely a good character. Like she's one of my faves. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with her this season. And we also have Lafayette, who is being protected by Jessica's new boyfriend slash vampire, but it just seems like they're kind of going the route that I don't even remember his name at the moment, that they may have a relationship as well, and I don't think that's fair to Jessica just because she just got into a relationship with that guy. So we'll see.
Yeah, there was definitely subtext there, um, about it's just kind of the way that they were talking and
Hmm.
sharing life stories, and then when he went to go drink from him, it just there was kind of like subtext there that you're like, is there something more between these two? But they changed the guy.
Yeah, again, like HBO just seems to be having issues. Like first Game of Thrones with Dario, and now with this character. But it's nice to see him because he's on the originals, the show The Originals, and
Yeah,
I like him
Nathan
on that show as
Parsons.
well. So, geez, guys, get it
Um,
together.
yeah, Nathan Parsons. He's on the originals. He's very attractive.
Well,
He's
he's just attractive.
Australian.
Yeah.
um,
Wait, yeah. So there was no Eric in this episode, but we're hoping that we're going to see him eventually. So that's True Blood, pretty much in a nutshell.
yeah, let's hope that we see him eventually, and he did not die off screen either, because
Oh,
I just can't
that
handle it.
no, the Eric fans would riot.
Yes,
They
they
they would
would.
riot. But apparently, it
So
looks like in the next episode that they'll find him. At least it shows from the description that Pam will find Eric, but in what state? That's interesting. So yeah, let's move on. We
okay. So
got Fallen Skies.
yeah, Falling Skies. Jeez. That opening sequence I really, really liked because it was the same one that I saw at WonderCon, but just seeing it again, I really, really loved it with because you kind of see new tech. We hadn't seen those fences before, had we?
No,
Um,
we have not. So
yeah,
that was new, and it was very refreshing, actually.
yeah, I'd like to see more of the alien tech, and so they were dropping. It looks like the second mass was returning. Now I was a little confused. Where were they returning from? Did they literally go to those Brazil or whatever? I don't.
No, I think they were in like Boston, I thought, and then they moved to Charleston. So they were traveling for like at least 22 days.
Okay, so they were coming back and to their home in Charleston, and then they got attacked, and then they've got the big fences. It came down, and it literally separated everybody. So it looks like they're going to do different storylines where you're going to see what's happening with Noah Wiley's character, and then you're going to see what's happening with his children, his different children, And then, oh my gosh, the doctor has turned into like, I don't know, she's like really cool. Not like she wasn't cool before, but she's like a warrior now.
Oh, Anne is awesome, and
And
I'm
like,
so
I don't want to
I'm
curse though, but
I'm so glad that they're actually putting her more into a leadership role. She was already kind of a leader in her own right, I think, but it wasn't really showcased because she's married to Tom. Is that
Tom. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, so Tom Mason, and at the time he was president, and they were together, but she was pregnant. So I mean, she was already like a leader within the medical team of the Second Mass, but now she's actually a leader. And so while it's unfortunate that it just seems like every season they're spending more time apart than together, like her and Tom, at the same time now at least she's really getting the shine, and I really like that. Moon, I think it's Moon. I'll just call her Moon.
Yeah, Moon was good.
Yeah, she's doing an excellent job so far, so I'm happy.
I know. I was just really excited to see her like kind of take the reins, and it looks like she's not
She's
going.
ruthless.
Yeah, she blow
She's
up
not
that
playing.
truck. I'm like, oh
No,
man.
she's not playing. Oh, and and I mentioned this on Twitter. Like, did you totally catch that the one guy she asked to take the shirt off has like a nice chest?
Yeah, I did. It was so funny.
It was so funny. It was just hilarious.
I'm like, whoosh. Okay, so
she did that on purpose.
So when you see kind of where Tom is, and is Captain Weaver going a little crazy? He sounded the way he was like talking and spouting out in like stuff. I'm like, is he sane completely?
I think just the fact that he's lost his daughter again, I think just has set him a little over, just a little. I mean, I think he's trying to find his way back, but at the same time, it's like, I need to find my daughter, and is it worth living now? Because I feel like I've lost her again. Like, she needs to be found. I need to find her. I want the best for him. Will Patton is awesome.
Yeah, I know. I hope he can get it together. So it's like they're in these concentration camps, kind of like Tom and Hal is there, and Weaver's there, and so yeah, it's
Pope.
and Pope, and then Tom has turned himself into kind of a vigilante.
Yeah, and the Overlord's like, we need to find the vigilante. Like, it was totally obvious that it was Tom, but and what makes it so bad is like the Skitters. How can you not know the building enough to know that there's a way to escape? Like, just the fact that you're making patrols to make sure that he's in the room, that doesn't work. Like, he immediately found a way to get out and to be the vigilante and come back in like nothing was wrong. Like, I'm just not understanding that.
We saw some flying Skitters too. That was new.
Ugh. They got
like
wings.
Big
they like
dragonflies.
bugs.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I couldn't. Oh God, it's
They
like
look even more like bugs. How about that?
grasshoppers, locust type of. I can't take bugs. I just ugh.
Ah.
So
and Hal tries to take on Pope, which was it was a nice attempt, but you're not quite.
Come on, Hal. Come on, man. So then you have the whole storyline with his daughter, and I don't really know how much time passed. Did they show how much time passed was it? Because
it was 4 months.
4 months,
4
yeah.
months.
I made some wisecrack that I said the next time we see her, she's going to be like 25, and maybe she wasn't 25, but she was significantly older than like however old she was supposed to be, like 8 or whatever. 4 months later, she was a teenager, maybe.
Well, considering how like not too long after they found Lexi and her mom, she was already about 7 or 8, and now that 22 days has passed, she managed to stay that age, but now she's pretty much grown. Poor Ben and Matt, they're like still the youngest, it feels like, even though the daughter is technically still a baby. Like, she's still technically supposed to be an infant right now, age-wise.
And so Ben got quite the hit on the head, and he woke up, and he had been out for a while, and he's very concerned with where his sister was. So when he saw her, he was kind of like, what? But it was kind of hazy. So the place that they're at right now, I don't like it.
Chinatown.
Something is so off there, and the fact that like everybody's okay with it. So they've got that camp where they're trying to reprogram the youth. That's what where
I'm
Matt
loving
is
that
in.
storyline right now because I feel like he's starting to be more like his dad, being like the rebel and being like a leader, and yeah, just I like that storyline. I like where they're going with that, and the black girl, I'm just like, really? Number one, you blend in no matter what, and for her, you need to do it even more. So, yeah, I'm glad Matt kind of nipped that in the bud. I'm like, really, really.
Yeah, and I'm like, who is this person that is in charge? I don't understand that at all. Like,
It's like instead of just kidnapping the kids and well, they're already kidnapped. They're still kidnapping them because Anne found the truck of kids. They're going to the concentration camp. And I feel like they're trying to brainwash the kids to willingly be connected to these skitters versus just kidnapping them and forcing it. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
it does, but then I don't understand like why. Okay, so why his daughter is at the head of it? Like she seems to be controlling everybody, and Lourdes like she took drinking the Kool-Aid because she's
No,
just.
I think these are two separate places.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, yeah. This isn't no. Where Lexi, Ben, Margaret, and Lourdes are. They're like in a Chinatown, like in a random city somewhere, and it seems like Lexi has created this haven. Whereas some miles away, Matt is in this concentration camp. These are the aliens' concentration camp, or the Eshveni, and they're trying to convert these kids to willingly be, hooked, for with a skitter. Like it's not, or become a skitter themselves, versus kidnapping them, potentially having several rebels, mind you, trying to escape and just brainwash them. Now, some of these kids have already become loyal to the skitter, so of course they would be more willing to brainwash these kids coming in versus, non-converters.
That makes more sense. That's probably why I was confused. But it was like I got confused because it seems like she doesn't want to fight either. The daughter, gosh, what is her name? Why did I just forget her name? You know why?
Lexi?
Because yeah, Lexi, because she grew and changed ethnicities like that, and it was kind of like it threw me off.
Yeah, it threw me off as well because it just came out of left field. Although I feel like maybe what they were going with it is because we're dealing with an alien or mixed she has alien DNA. Maybe like as a young kid she looks like mama, and now that she's older she looks a little bit more like dad, except for the hair. And so they're just with the alien DNA, it's kind of like they're trying to go. You see both parents.
She
DNA.
looks like a mixture of the Mother of Dragons and that one girl from Avatar: The Last Airbender that became the moon. That Sokka was
She
in love with. That's
does.
what she looks like. I'm like,
The
she should
hair.
cosplay.
Yeah, it is. That's the truth. I mean, Lana, you and I we were just going to town with that, like on Twitter, because it is true. Like she looks like Khaleesi. She looks like the girl that died or became the moon on Avatar. Like it's crazy. She has that look.
Yeah, but she's not wanting to fight. Like she wants like a peaceful solution, which is interesting to me, like that concept, because she's supposed to be like an infant, so I don't know how she can grasp everything.
Well, yeah, and just the fact that the town doesn't seem to have been attacked in like a really long time, and it makes me confused a little bit as to how long Ben has actually been knocked out, because it appears as though initially he was awake, but then somehow he got knocked out in another initial attack, but that's when I guess. No, that didn't happen either, because remember when was it Margaret? She mentioned the story about the Beck that came in and got struck by lightning. I thought that Ben was still like not awake at that point.
Yeah, I don't think
he
was.
recently got knocked out and then that happened too. Like I don't know. I'm a little bit confused with that as well. And we did see in the preview, mind you, Margaret and Ben. I still don't know why they're going that route, but I know why they're together, like they're in the same place versus her being, she's like away from house. So, and even in the beginning of the episode, they were a little tense because of, I guess, what happened with Karen in the last season. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen with that.
That's gross, because isn't he supposed to be like younger? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
He's like
I don't know how old he is.
And she's not too much older. At least she looks more like she's in her 20s versus a young teenager. And Ben and Hal, I'm confused as to the age at this point because I feel like I don't know what age they are, and I just feel like I know what age they are, like in real life, which is young. Like Hal, Drew Mason, he's like in his 20s. Margaret is in her 20s, and Ben is still a teenager. So I'm a little bit freaked out by that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know, and that whole area is just kind of weird. I feel like people are under influences that are just not theirs. That's what I feel like she's influencing people.
Yeah, I think she's in like some kind of a bubble, and she's managed to protect the people in this bubble, and it's not as they appear. Maybe they're in a dreamlike state, but Ben's not having it, and I hope he keeps on not having it and just questioning everything. Like it's not real.
Yeah, I hope so too. But it was a really good episode, premiere episode. Got me excited about Falling Skies again. So I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention Cochise.
Oh yeah, I think I tweeted that. I'm like, where have you been, sir?
He's been in recon.
Yeah.
And of course he just gives like depressing news, like, yeah, you're kind of screwed because they're developing a new weapon.
Yeah, and we basically had to go back and defend where we were hiding our families, which is understandable.
I don't really blame the Volm for leaving like that because, yeah, they're still at war with the Eshreni, like in other places other than Earth. So if their livelihood is threatened, yeah, I would go. So I can't really blame them for that.
Yeah, I can't either. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they were a huge help.
Yep, so we'll see. I mean, if some of them come back, and right now it's just him and kind of like a little scouting party.
So now that we've talked about Fallen Skies, let's talk about Teen Wolf. Oh my gosh, they start out. I felt like I was watching like a mini movie or like a short movie or something, and that's kind of what they were going for, but I thought it was still kind of cool. I mean, we start off with them in Mexico, they're trying to find Derek, and Styles and Lydia was dropping off this money like it was nothing. I'm like, where did you get this money?
I am bothered by the whole thing. I'm like, nobody parents, because I couldn't just, how did they just leave and go to Mexico? Like,
Is Beacon Hills in California and they just can just drive? Where in Beacon Hills are they? Is it close enough to Mexico where they can just drive? Because they had Styles' little Jeep. I love that Jeep. I feel like it's a staple to the show. And now it has the flat tire.
I know they now film in California. They were filming in Atlanta, but I don't know where Beacon Hills is really, like, supposed to be. But even if it's, like, close to, just going over the border and the time that it takes, because I do live in California and I have gone over to Mexico and getting back, and just, they were gone all day. You saw the sun. You saw it go down. So I'm like, does anybody question where their children are? I mean, at this point, like,
they could have gone on a trip just with each other because it's summer. I mean, that could have happened.
My parents would let me go across the border when I was a teenager on a day trip.
They probably thought they were going somewhere else versus where they really went. Yeah,
that's true. I wonder if they all have passports, or I don't think you need a passport. I think you just need an ID. But yeah, so I was like, wow. You know what I really do like? My goodness, I'm trying to think of her name right now. It's escaping me. The one that's a coyote.
Malia.
I do like how they're addressing the fact that she has been a coyote for most of her life, so she's learning things on how to be, like, she's trying to separate that and being the human aspect, because she's like, yeah, if one of the pack was, like, lame, she was ready to leave Lydia because Lydia got caught, and it didn't even faze her because she hasn't built that kind of relationship, those, like, friend-like relationship, because she's just thinking animalistic. One's down, you leave it.
And that was a concern, and maybe it's going to be a little bit harder for me, at least, because they're going to eventually go back to high school. And granted, they may not, be in the classroom a lot, but just the fact that she's actually going to school, that's still kind of bothering me a little bit. Because granted, they're addressing how she's lived as a coyote for 8 years, but her education aspect of it, you can't really sweep that under the rug. Like, I'm sorry. It's going to be a lot harder, at least for me, to believe that she actually has the intelligence, human-wise anyway, to be in high school.
Well, here's the thing, and this is, kind of because I work at a school, and it depends on the state, but you are promoted by age a lot of places. So yes, you can go from 6th grade without passing because you're promoted by age. So they would put her in high school, which is unfortunate because they're never gonna put like a 15-year-old in a classroom full of like 11-year-olds. It just will never happen for other reasons.
Well, I'm hoping that at least she's kind of learning on the side, like at the same time, so she's not like completely clueless.
Yeah, I doubt, like, if we see her and she's in a chemistry, like a AP chemistry class, I'm like gonna throw something because I'm like, come on now, let's be. But when did she turn? She was, she knew how to read. She was like 8 or 9 or maybe 10 or something. She was old enough to have gotten at least 5 years of education, or 5th grade, 5th or 6th grade, I think.
Yeah, but then you learn algebra, geometry.
Oh yeah.
And biology, like, granted, she could probably pass on biology alone. She's been a coyote, but maybe not human biology, but definitely animal biology as far as coyotes are concerned.
Yeah, she would probably be in basic classes, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just glad that they did bring it up because it's not something that maybe people would think about, but it's definitely something that
people were thinking about it.
Oh, really? Okay, because when they brought it up, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, duh. Like, how would she even be able to relate to people?
Yeah, that was a huge concern from several fans, either on Twitter or all across the internet. Like, it was a concern because of how she turned back, and I felt it would have been a little bit easier if she happened to turn into a coyote closer to the age that she is now, and was in the coyote state for a few years versus like 8 or 9. Like it would have been a lot easier to digest that there are going to be aspects of her personality that's going to be more animalistic, that she is, her education-wise anyway, that it's going to be different.
Yeah, and she obviously has no self-control. She's got to learn that because she just ran off like into the darkness, and you can't do that. Why are her eyes blue again? Did she hurt somebody? I don't. Oh, her.
Well, there was. Yeah, her. Yeah.
And her mom. Okay, gotcha. So I really like that. They touched on Scott and his relationship
with Kira,
and how it's Kira, and how it's not a relationship. Like, what is it? Everybody wants to know that, so I'm glad they just came out and said, well, isn't that your girlfriend? And he's like, no, what? It's just like,
and I felt like they were on their way to that until Allison's death. Now, in the very beginning, when it was so awesome the way that they did it, because the hunter, Araya was like, you came alone, and so I was like, no, we didn't come alone. What are you talking about? And then they panned into like the three, Malia, Kira, and Scott, and their eyes were glowing, but I still felt the absence of Allison, because even though their eyes were glowing, they still could have had like a little sidekick, like Allison was like the hunter, so it was a hunter in her own right, so it's kind of like, it just would have been nice to see her. I miss her.
Yeah, it was.
Or even Isaac. And Isaac's been mysteriously MIA. We know why. We know why he left the show, but it wasn't even addressed yet. So it's kind of like, are you even going to address it? Hopefully he'll address it in the next episode.
I think when Papa Argent comes back, maybe he'll say something, because remember, they went off together.
Yeah. So I thought the little fight scene that they had was kind of cute as well, because Kira had these cute nunchucks that glowed. I'm like, I need to get those.
I'd hurt myself. Guarantee I'd knock myself out and I'd be on the
I
floor.
would knock myself out. I just think that'd be cool to have. And so, Araya, in the way that she, just tortured Scott. Oh my gosh, he has really nice arms, by the way. But just the fact that it just seemed like the torture was a waste, or it was kind of pointless because they didn't know anything. I didn't get that either. So I was a little bit confused as to why y'all could have just talked, and and maybe it was because of Scott's alphaness. So he was able to figure out that Kate was alive. Like how they jumped from Derek being missing, that Araya didn't know where he was, to Kate being alive. Like I didn't understand how it jumped from that.
No, it was far-fetched, and I wrote that on my notes. I was like, what was the point of this electrocution? And she was obviously trying to push him. She knew of a process to get it that he didn't know about. And I guess that was the process that was trying to get him to reach back into his head. But it's still a large leap, and you're still unsure of whether she already knew that name. She already knew who that person. She did. She knew what she looked like. So I was like, why?
She also knew that Kate, because she took Kate at the end of season 1, even though we didn't see it, at least not on screen. But just the fact that they kept her prisoner and she escaped, you already knew that she was alive.
So why was what was the point of getting him?
So what was the point of him trying to get him to realize that? Because to make him realize that Kate may have somehow gotten Derek? I'm still not understanding that.
She could have just told him that, but she did say she wanted to see what kind of alpha he was. I don't know what that means.
And Kira is a kitsune. That was electricity, boo. Why can you absorb that into yourself? Just saying. Have they not developed that part of her power yet?
I don't know, but she knew, they knew that that's what she was, because they said we're going to use her because she's not vulnerable to electricity. I'm like, where are these League of hunters? So it's was the Argent family just another secular part of this whole hunting pack? They're hunters, but they're in Mexico, and then you got the Argents, and
they're just different hunting families. I mean, that's not and they must know, at least heard of each other or run in the same circles. So I'm not really surprised that there's actually a hunter family set in Mexico.
But why are they so? I guess I don't know. They want to make sure the rules are followed, and she kills herself. And why?
Yeah, she didn't kill herself.
You know what? It's funny because when we did the season wrap up of Teen Wolf, I was like, she didn't look like a wolf, guys. I don't know what she is, and so you find out what she is. Yeah, but why? Why? Because they tell you where that came from, but why she's associated with that
versus
not being there? It's not like she grew up there. It's not so weird.
Yeah, and then there's this abandoned city where they worship. So she kidnapped Derek and turns into a little kid. How did that happen?
I don't know, but that's really kind of obnoxious because I don't want to see a little kid Derek for half of the season. I just don't.
Well, it appears as though from the scenes that they showed in Wolfwatch that he's not going to be that way for long. So I'll be interested to see in how they turn him back.
See, I don't see the seasons, the clips, because I don't watch Wolfwatch. I don't like how they moved it to that. I didn't know, so I didn't know to tape it. I couldn't watch it live because it's too late and I'm old and I have to go to bed. But after Teen Wolf ended, I went to sleep and I was like, oh, there's no previews, but I guess they're on Wolfwatch now. So everybody.
Well, yeah. I mean, they'll still show previews after each episode, but then they'll show little tidbits of the following episode, like a scene or two on Wolfwatch. That makes you want to see it even more.
Oh, I don't think they showed any after the thing.
Well, that's probably because they were showing clips for Wolfwatch. Yeah, they saved it for Wolfwatch.
Well, boo. Okay, so I didn't see any of that. So.
And we saw Brayden again. I'm like, I love seeing her. I like her character. I wish she was on there more.
Yeah, and where's the counselor?
Oh, she's probably gonna pop up somewhere. She always does. I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah,
And we saw
so
Dean, so at least we know that he's still alive at least, and he's well, and he's still advising. No,
that's gonna
wait,
be
we didn't even.
interesting.
Did we see Dean? I think it was just the three of them and Lydia trying to figure out what happened with Derek.
No, we haven't seen him yet.
Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe I'm thinking about the clips.
And it'll be interesting when Peter meets his daughter.
Yeah, I'm really interested in see how they deal with that aspect of the relationship, and even why they're keeping it from her for this long, and just the fact that she still has a dad that she knows or has helped raise her to a certain degree until she went missing. So that aspect of it too, I hope they do a little bit more exploring of that.
Well, he locked her up, right? He's the one that sent her to that mental place.
After they found her.
Yeah, I know, but I wonder if she's like kind of. I mean, I would get mad if I had been gone for so long and then my dad
True.
shipped me off to like a mental institution. I'd be like, that's it.
True, but he doesn't believe that she was a coyote, so.
Well, she can change that real quick. She just gotta like right in front of him. Nails come all
No,
out.
then he would go. Then he would go to Echo House.
Yeah. Well, I'd just be like, I told you. I don't even know like why. I told you. I told you it was coming.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and how random was it that Lydia still doesn't really know how too much how to be a Banshee, and Araya again trying to dig a little bit deeper into her powers, just randomly kill some dude. She knew that he was stealing from her, but still, really?
Yeah, poor Lydia doesn't have anybody to help her. I mean, at least Scott can help Malia somewhat, like kind of guide her.
Mm-hmm.
Derek helped guide Scott. Lydia has no one, like unless we see another Banshee soon. And
Well, we
yeah,
saw Meredith last season. She's also a Banshee, but she's kind
yeah,
of a little cuckoo.
yeah.
So it's kind of like what can she really teach her? But you never know. But I'm looking forward to seeing her again. That's for sure.
And why is she a Banshee, like, and her parents are not? Have we even seen Lydia's parents ever?
Yeah, we saw her mom,
Hmm.
who's played by Lyndon Ashby's wife, by the way. Shout out, Susan. I think it's Susan
Oh,
Wagner.
really? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So, a lot of good stuff from Teen Wolf. I am actually
Yeah, we're looking forward to the season. Whoop,
looks good.
whoop.
Looks good. So, should we go
Legend of
to
Korra.
we got 3 episodes, guys, and I was like, wow, they came out with a bang because they were like, one,
No,
two.
the only reason they came out with 3 episodes like that is because the other episodes leaked. Let's be for real.
Yeah, I just wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but
No, that's the reason, and it's unfortunate because now there's less weeks of core episodes.
yeah, yeah, it is. They're gonna do a break. They're gonna have breaks or something because they just took 3 episodes. Although a lot of times when they do the premiere, they show at least 2 episodes. So,
Yeah, that would
um,
have been an hour. That would have at least been one more week.
right. So we're gonna miss 1 week in there. But it is what it is. But they were really there were 3 good episodes, mind
Oh
you.
my gosh.
A lot
Oh.
happened. A lot happened. So Korra has, we left off. She had that massive fight, and she kind of it was a
Yes.
harmonic convergence,
Harmonic convergence.
right? And she decided to leave the pathway to the spirit world open. Am I getting that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the spirit world decided it would just grow all over the place.
Yeah, and Republic City's not happy about that.
Mm-mm. I mean, there are vines and trees in the middle of towns.
Yeah, Mako and Bolin, like Mako's sleeping at the police station. Bolin's staying with Tenzin and his family at the air temple. Like it's not ideal. I don't really blame them for that, but at the same time, Korra was trying to save the world, so you kind of got to give her a little bit of slack on that.
Yeah, I know, and she's trying, but they're like growing back, and oh, it's just so. I
Yeah,
don't know
that
how
was
that.
kind of troubling.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to turn out. I mean, that giant porcupine came out and started yelling. I'm like, wow, that would just be like really hard to get used to. And then if
Yeah, eh, yeah.
their leader or whatever, like blaming Korra, I'm like, you ungrateful.
Well, and it's like, well, why couldn't there have been negotiations? Find a representative of the spirits, and y'all just talk it out. Like, it's what was the harm in that?
I don't know if they even. I don't even know how the spirits always freak me out a little bit. Some of them are cute, but some of them are really, really creepy.
Oh yeah, they are.
Really, really creepy. But so the cool thing that happened is it looks like airbenders are kind of popping up. And
And it's been a long time. Fumi's an airbender. You know what? I'm a little. As cool as it is, at the same time, I liked him just regular. Like everyone else everyone else is like an airbender or some kind of bender, and there was still one human that was actually human, and to see that taken away kind of sucks, because Sokka was like the non-human, and his little girlfriend from gosh, I'm going blank, but you kind of know where I'm going with that. They were like the two humans of like the Team Avatar group in the last Avatar. And now I feel like in Team Avatar, except for Asami, there really isn't too many other non-humans.
I know, but like Boomy, you could tell he's so wanted to be. Like he just,
Yeah.
and he was the first son of Aang, and I'm sure it was just like
Yeah.
hard for him, and he was so happy.
Yeah. Boomy's awesome. I love him. And everyone's faces, because initially when it happened, of course he's alone when it first happens, so he's trying to tell them, and they like, yeah, it's Boomy, whatever. And then the sun like throws something at him, and he's like airbending, and everyone's like, everyone's faces are so funny. So now that there are a slew of airbenders coming up, they're starting to realize, yeah, this is a way to, like bring the Air Nation back. Like, but they're quickly realizing, at least by the second episode, that not everyone wants to go live in a temple. Like, they have lives. They had a life before they became airbending. They didn't ask for that. And so just trying to recruit people that actually want to learn or, be a part of an Air Nation is a lot harder than they anticipated, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, their approach wasn't very productive either. Like,
Tenzin was not.
No, Tenzin was not. No.
That was not the best approach, because the thing is, to do what they're kind of like Buddhist monks, and so you can't take somebody who's lived their whole life one way and tell them they need to become a Buddhist monk now. It just will never work. And when he was saying, no, you have to go to the air temple, your wife will understand, and what? He's married and he has children, and you expect him to go off to an air temple to devote his life to.
No, so and maybe the approach should have been like, we'll teach you what you need to know, and then you can come back. Like it just seemed like, no, you're gonna stay here forever. Like, no.
I liked how they did that too with the little ship and the map in their faces, and how their faces changed as it.
So you can be a vegetarian, and you telling that to someone that's eating meat right now, really, Tenzin?
You get to shave your head and get a tattoo. So funny.
And then they tried to do like a little like show, and Tenzin was actually looking. It's funny because he's surrounded in his robes all the time, but you don't really realize, yeah, he got a little bit of muscle. He's not that bad looking. And you're like, well, maybe now I see a little bit of the appeal that Lin and his wife has. A little bit.
Yeah, that was a really good approach, and they just get their new recruit.
Yeah, but he's a thief.
Freaking thief, like a little punk.
Kai.
But what's before we jump way too ahead, there's another subplot. So one of these major prisoners, like as a major prisoner, because he was like in this obscure jail, became an earthbender, or not an earthbender, airbender when this happened, and so he broke out.
I'm confused as to what he originally was, because they were like, now you're an airbender? Like, what were you before? And he was just human?
I'm pretty sure he's human, because the other ones were the other ones that we've seen that he goes to break out. they're benders. They're certain kinds of benders,
And
and
that's why they had the prisons that they had. I understand that, but I don't know. It just seems a little weird that a human
could be
would
the
have
leader.
such a like it. And
Mm,
now that he got gifted with airbending because of the harmonic convergence, now it just seems a little bit weird for me. Y'all were like, he's like, well, now we're sure of our mission to destroy or to pretty much wreak havoc and also destroy the Avatar. If it wasn't for the Avatar, you would not be an airbender. Maybe you should thank her. Just saying.
yeah, but she's also the only one that could probably stop them. So that's their
True,
number one
but at the
target.
same time, if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be airbending. You would still be in prison.
Fire Lord Zuko's got a dragon.
I squealed. I was like, Lord Zuko! I love Zuko.
I did too. He's like
It
one
was
of
so
my
nice
favorites.
to see him. It was so nice to see him again.
It really was. It was. It was nice to see him again. I was excited when I saw
I
him. And
squealed. I was like, Lord Zuko! Yay! And yes, like you said, he has a dragon. I'm like, where did he get a dragon?
I won't
Was
lie.
that from that episode when they were trying to, what was it? Do something with the dragons in that episode of Last Avatar?
I don't know. It's been there's such a like time period gap, and
Yeah.
it's so weird too because Zuko was older than Aang.
Yeah. And he's still around. At least someone's still around. I mean, granted, wait, didn't the mom die?
Katara's still around.
I thought they did an episode where she died, though. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope not.
Could be coming.
Ugh, don't do that. Don't say that.
I wanted to see Toph, mind you. That's what I wanted to see. Like I like
I think
Toph.
she's already. I
Yeah.
think she's dead too. Boo.
So sad.
I know it sucks, but we got to see Lord Zuko.
Yeah. And so he's rushed off to go try to.
Yeah, and the White Lotus is the same organization or same group that his uncle was a part of. I loved his uncle too.
Yep. We saw him for a split second.
Yeah,
in
we
the
did.
spirit
But I
world.
hope we get to see his spirit again. That would be nice. Iroh, I love you, Iroh.
That would be nice. Yeah, so and there, this is so we know who the big bad is going to be. Basically, this
Mhm.
book, we can see that developing. So
Yeah, and he's already broke out 3 of the 4 prisoners, and one of them is like a waterbender with no arms, so she uses the water as her arms, which is awesome. Like those scenes where they're breaking out of prison, and the guy that he broke out, that's like a earthbender, apparently he can turn stuff into lava and throw it. That is dangerous.
So she's got not just one really major character to defeat, but she's going to have several. So
Yeah, so she's definitely going to need Team Avatar. And I'm concerned because it's kind of like, well, Bolin and Mako are good, but are they that good? I mean, Tenzin, I'm not as concerned about Tenzin, although, yeah, he's going to have some issues too. And it makes me wonder who's going to match up with who. Like, I'm really wondering what. She can't do all 4, but who is she going to ultimately match up with? Maybe it's Zahir, and Tenzin can maybe take, not Pai Li, but Ming Na or Ming Li. We'll get the name straight. But the one that's the waterbender. And maybe Mako and Bolin can both take the other guy.
Zuko.
I don't know yet. Or Zuko. Yeah, he has to be in the fight somehow too. Who is he gonna fight? Like, I'm just really looking forward to that. Oh my gosh. Like, just the bending scenes alone, I'm just really looking forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. I really like how this is shaping out, and we in the last episode we see a subplot with the Earth Kingdom, and the leader of the Earth Kingdom, she is not a nice woman at all.
She's not like the Earth King. He was nice.
Yeah, but she resents the Avatar because she said that he and Zuko kind of took advantage of her father and
Hmm.
taking land from them to create
Republic
that
City.
Republic City. So it's really interesting. She seems a little bit bitter by that, but you see now too, she's the one that's getting all these Earthbenders and rounding them up to fight for her. So it's just like,
Airbenders.
yeah, Airbenders. So I mean, Korra's going to have her to deal with as well. So there seems to be a lot of fights that are gearing up for the season.
Yeah, and can I tell you how awesome it is that Korra and Asami are actually friends? And granted, that whole awkwardness between them and Mako, like I'm glad that they still created a friendship despite what happened in the last 2 seasons. Because yeah, Korra needs a friend that's a girl and not Tenzin,
That's a girl, not Tenson.
and not Naga. I mean, granted, Naga's great, but yeah, she needs an
I
actual. Yeah,
I want a Naga.
I know. I want a Naga too. I want what's his face too? The ferret.
Yeah.
Dude, she's
Um,
so adorable.
they aren't adorable in real life though. I had a ferret run up my leg once.
No, it's not okay.
My pant
I
leg.
can just feel I could feel the claws. No, that wouldn't have been fun.
Mm-mm, it wasn't. Um, so I'm really excited about this season because I really really like these shows, and it's funny. My older sister, got me into Avatar: The Last Airbender because her kids watched it, and so I
Hmm.
got into it, and my dad got into it, and my other sisters got into it. They all don't like Korra as much as they like Avatar and Aang. But Aang was a little more goofy, and it was funny. And
Hmm.
this is a little darker, but I really, really like it. I mean, I love them both.
Hmm.
I just think they put together a really, really good show.
Yeah, and it was also nice to see the twins again, who are now they're like bored. They're like, "Why didn't you tell me about this prison so I could throw my tailor into
Yeah, those twins, androgynous twins. They're
it?" They're
just
awesome.
they're funny and kind of creepy at the same time.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
I like them. It's
yeah, and they
great
can
characters.
actually they're really good waterbenders, so that I think that will help too. Hopefully, they'll join in the fight and be awesome. So
Believe it or not, I mean, it's a cartoon, but there's really good character development. Really good.
yeah, granted, a lot of the love interest storyline of the last 2 seasons wasn't the greatest, so I'm kind of glad that they're kind of not focusing on that this season. Although Janara is already crushing on Kai, I thought that's really cute. So maybe just do a little bit of that versus Korra dealing with love issues. Because
Yeah.
I feel a difference already, and it's nice. It's really nice. And her and Asami when they fought against those raiders with the money, I thought that was awesome. That was a good fight scene too. Because Asami was
Yeah.
on her own. She was like, "Yep, let me just flip flop and kick you and
Zap you with lightning
zap
and
you." Yeah,
she
that
could
was
hold her
cool.
own. I liked
Yeah,
it.
I liked it too.
So I don't know. I'm just really excited about where this is going. Actually, all the shows that we went over, with the exception of True Blood, unless they bring Tara back, I am excited about where they're going. Um,
Yes, totally. I'm still gonna be live tweeting True Blood, so don't worry about that. But as far as us talking about it, we may or may not. That
we will
depends.
see. It
We
depends on
will
what they do
see.
with Tara. Okay. If I read somewhere that this was a hoax and she's coming back, then I will I will feel a lot better. Let's put it that way. But main
Yeah.
characters dying off screen, no, no, that's a big no no.
No, if she was gonna die, I would have preferred to see her die versus off screen like that. Because again, it no, that was cheap, and that no.
And she's been on the show for since the
So,
beginning, so that's just not.
no, you don't do that, especially after you went through so much trouble to bring her back as a vampire.
Yeah, true that. Okay, so I guess we'll wrap up here. we're going to be talking about these shows.
Oh, and definitely check out on our website. We do have a recap of Korra. Blogger. Sorry.
Blogger.
Yes, blogger Daniel, part of the Nerd Element. He's writing the recaps of Korra, so definitely check that out. But we'll also be talking about it because we just love the show and we just need to talk about it.
We do. We love the show and we have to talk about it. So these are probably going to be the main shows that you're going to hear from us over the summer because it's summer shows. So join us every week for the new episodes of TV Talk, and we'll go over the new episodes of these shows. But let's tell everybody where they can reach us. Go ahead, Natasha.
You can reach me at WillCat12, and like I said before, we do live tweet a lot as at the Nerd Element. Definitely check out our website as well because I wrote a lot of stuff.
Yep, www.thenerdelement.com. Go check out, register with our site. We'd love to see you. Comments. We really want comments.
Yeah, we need comments too. Comments are nice.
They are. They help us approve in areas that we need to approve, and then reassure us, in areas that we're doing well. So guys, please give us comments. You can always tweet us comments. You can find me at anime23 or at the Nerd Element. I tweet from there as well. And any social media, guys, we're on Facebook at facebook.com, The Nerd Element, Instagram, The Nerd Element, Tumblr, The Nerd Element, Pinterest, The Nerd Element. We're on Flickr now, The Nerd Element.
Yeah, that made it a little bit.
Google Plus, The Nerd Element. So just find us. Just type in The Nerd Element and find us, and please follow us. We would really appreciate it.
And leave comments. We love comments.
Yes, and leave comments. So if you guys ever want us to bring something up on the show, go ahead and send us an email, thenerdelement@gmail.com. In the subject line, though, put TV Talk, okay, so we can pull that email out, put it aside, talk about it on the next show.
And shout out to Falling Sky Spain because they tweeted a theory about where Lexi's getting her powers, which is the moon. Another Avatar reference.
See that? Yep.
So shout out to them. I definitely want to give them a quick shout out because that was a cool theory and I love it. So.
Plus, we love to see fandoms that are international. So, Falling Skies, Spain. What is up? That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we will wrap up here. Remember, like we said this in the beginning, we will probably be moving to the podcast format here, closer to to definitely for the fall shows, but probably here in the next couple of weeks. So, just a reminder on that. And we will make sure we give you all the information for that as well. All right, guys, we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.